Hail and well met. Welcome to the latest episode of the Westgate Irregulars. I think we're on 34, 35,
Nice.
34, 34,
34.
34. Episode 34 of the Westgate Irregulars. I am your DM, Eric Scott DeB. As you can see my face again. Popped up on Percocet, so I just have good old Dungeon Master booze.
Drug-free since episode 33.
Take it away, Aaron.
Hi, I'm Erin M. Evans. I'm the author of the Brimstone Angels saga. Before we start, I'm going to tell you a little bit about our sponsors, Idle Champions of the Forgotten Realms. Idle Champions of the Forgotten Realms is a strategy game that unites iconic Dungeons & Dragons characters from novels, campaigns, and popular shows into one epic adventure. That includes Farida and Havilar from the Brimstone Angels saga. The game is available for PC and Mac, on Steam and web, Xbox One, PlayStation 4, Nintendo Switch, iPad, iPhone, and on all Android devices. Right now, they have the Bright Swords event going on for the next 5 days, I think. So if you're playing, that's a lot of fun. And you can get a gold chest code from us. If you type in the code at the bottom of the screen into chat, it will spit out a code for you. Do that and let us know if you get anything shiny. And if you don't know what I'm talking about and you would like to, check them out at their website at idlechampions.com.
I'm Rhiannon Held. I write urban fantasy under that name and space opera under RZ Held. And if you want to take a look at any of our books, since we're all authors, take a look at the Amazon widget on our Twitch page that has an example of a book from all of us. So you can try us out.
Hi, I'm Yang Wang. I'm a writer and a filmmaker.
Hi, I'm Stephen Merlino. I'm an author and a teacher.
Hi, I'm Randy Henderson. I am a professional dog breath tester.
How do you test that breath?
Lucky.
Well, dog food and other companies like hire me to test if their products improve the quality of a dog's breath.
Do they?
Do you do like the sniff
No.
test?
No.
Oh, I see.
I realize that I don't usually tell you what I write. I write Forgotten Realms novels and other novels and stuff, and you should check out my works, like Rhiannon said. Okay, so episode 34 of the Westgate Irregulars. Some harrowing things happened last week, but I was high on drugs at the time.
True
So,
story.
What I'm going to do is I'm going to do the round table, and everyone's going to tell me one thing they remember from last week, which can't be the same as what the person before you said, any of the people before you. We're going to start with Erin so that she has plenty of options. One thing you remember from last week.
We all got epic magic items.
That did not happen.
How do you know? You were high.
I was high, but not that high.
Oh, okay.
I was 8th level high. I wasn't 8th level high.
Oh, okay. So Rogar and the other clerics of Sharindlar went ahead and did the ritual to heal Kaelith's wings. Or possibly horribly.
Yes, that ritual might not have gone exactly as planned, or
Horribly
exactly as the
unexpected. That's the way
dwarves
to do it.
planned. All right, Rhiannon, one thing you remember.
So Rogar and Ruan held hands, and it defeated the Bugawumps, and the rom-com music swelled. It was so fun.
Aww. All right, Yang, one thing you remember.
Scaresair and Nala came, and they went down into the mines to go pursue the illithid.
That's right. All right, Stephen, one thing you remember.
Was last time the time we were fighting?
Yes. Well, you got to narrow it
We're
down a little bit, buddy.
Always fighting.
Well, okay.
It's
So
D&D.
Yeah.
Existence is a struggle.
I
Was
remember
last time the time you were fighting the drow?
No,
Yeah.
I don't
No?
think so. I think
Oh.
we were past that particular
we
fight.
were fighting the
the
Bugawumps.
We were fighting the Bogawants, and we were then doing the ritual.
right.
You could talk about fighting the drow if you want.
I remember what I remember is freaking Caliph, this beautiful young creature with supple skin as all young people have, and
Getting weird.
she traded all that
What's
in
happening here?
to become a gruesome haggard lich thing. You're supposed to do that when you're really old and you have nothing to lose. You don't give away your youth to become a lich queen. What the heck?
Have
So,
my
yeah.
skin,
Randy.
give me power.
All right, Randy, one thing you remember.
Let's see. One thing I remember. We were attacked by the Bogglewups, and the High Priestess told us about, gave us exposition on the bleakness.
The bleakness, right?
A terrible, afflictions striking the dwarves. Basically, kind of a hopelessness and loss. And then, but then the Bogglewumps rose up, and we fought them, and everybody, every time people would attack the Bogglewumps, they would hurt me. So. That's what I remember.
And Cecilia's father is going to show
but
up.
Not their fault.
I don't think so. I don't remember that.
Oh, I also and I should add, our viewers can check out excellent Shay Darksong, our moderator Alexandra writes excellent recaps of all the past episodes. You can go to our website and catch up and review everything that's happened, as well as she has an exciting, cool little bonus story. Sharing what's going on with Shay Darksong in Westgate while we're out here tromping around, just having a fine old time at the dwarven outpost. So you should check that out.
A vinaigrette, if you will.
A vinaigrette, if you will.
You
Yes.
guys.
And
Our
maybe this time
faithful
it will-
chronicler has feelings of her own. Shay Darksong has a rich internal life that you can get a sneak peek into if you go read her story. You really should. It's pretty great.
Yeah.
All right. But speaking of complex internal lives, back to the Westgate Irregulars at
Messy soap
the
operas.
dwarven outpost, which Brandy is called.
Kjerstad Dun Matten.
That's right.
The Forge of Dawn.
The Forge of Dawn.
In Dwarvish. Don't critique my Scots Gaelic. Thank you.
Okay. So when would you like to start? Would you like to start when Nala and Scarcer arrive? So you could, in theory, accompany them? Would you like to start the following morning? What would you prefer?
I think the main thing is that all of us would probably be fairly worried about Caliph. So I think we have to figure out a way to put that.
So
to bed.
you'd like to start immediately?
So I think Scarcer and Nala can kind of take care of themselves, at least until they tell us that they can't. But Caliph.
Yeah, Scarcer looks very judgmentally at Stong. And she's like, what? Are you a coward now?
Oh.
Well, we did get that message from Aiden, right? So we know
Yeah.
she's.
That message was hecka ominous. Can we? Because I definitely assume that she's eating his face right now.
I did nothing to Caleb. I did not.
So-
It's bullshit. It's a lie. Oh, hi, Caleb.
I mean, it might be faster rather than trying to travel back there immediately. It might be faster to wait for Scarcer to be able to teleport again.
Should do that once a
Possibly.
day.
Yeah. So we'd have to wait one day versus however many days it takes to travel back to Westgate. So it might be better to hold on to our impatience, even though it's hard.
The chat has a question that might be relevant to this planning, and that
Chat, what's
is,
your question?
how many mind flares were there?
Let me think very hard. Yeah,
Well,
how many mind flayers?
Cecilia, you
Since I didn't even know it was
saw-
a mind flayer when it came out.
you saw a number of clearly charmed, mind-controlled beings. You
Huh?
recognize the look because you do a little enchantment from time to time, and you saw one cloaked, bent-over figure.
Squid vampire, right?
And as you were looking, trying to figure out what this being was, it
Pretty sure
turned
squid
its
vampire.
head, and you saw these white tentacles extending out from its where its mouth should be.
Gross.
And I think you beat a hasty retreat,
Yeah,
tactical
that sounds
withdrawal.
great.
Let's say.
Get the hell out of there.
Yeah. So more than zero.
So one squid vampire.
You only
Yes,
saw
maybe.
one squid vampire.
It only takes one.
I mean, it is definitely one more than I would like to see.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it sounds like something that maybe
But
Scarcer could
I also
take care of.
I feel like suggesting Scarcer needs our help is just as likely to get her womping us as
Yeah.
being cowards.
Yeah.
So,
I feel like she's got this handled. But we're around if you need us.
There we go.
Yeah, she's gonna ask her help.
Tactfully put.
Mm-hmm.
What's her weapon now? She doesn't have that axe anymore.
Does she?
Oh,
I
she
didn't
still has
take
the
it.
axe.
Oh, she still has that. I thought she gave that away.
Which
No.
somebody who who told us that axe was cursed?
Was it Mirren?
No.
I don't know.
No.
Someone said to me like, "Oh, you don't. I'm glad you don't have that axe because it's cursed the way Surge's sword is cursed."
I don't recall exactly who it was who told you that. It might have been Sarshan who told you that.
Maybe
Sounds
Ruan.
plausible. Dropping a random detail like that into conversation.
Well, you did agree that he would tell you everything.
That is true, for better or worse.
Yeah.
I'm very curious what's happening with Scarcera and the cursed axe, but
All right.
I
Well, they
also
head
don't want
down
her to
into
kill
the
me.
tunnels.
Have a good time.
Sarah with her axe and her red dragon prosthetics.
Have
And
fun
Nala
storming
in her
the
combat
tunnels.
wheelchair.
I'm kind of squinting at Scarcera, seeing if I can tell.
So
She's waving around the axe in obvious relish of cutting down some enemies.
Song,
Even though it's cursed.
Yes.
did you try to send to our winged friend,
I did.
and
But-
she?
Nothing. Did not respond. Did not pick up my call.
Is it because she's no longer herself and you can no longer send to someone you don't know, or is it because she was ignoring you?
Or she's knocked out on the side of the mountain.
But she just showed up with what's his name?
Oh yeah, I
Well-
forgot about that. Fair point.
Yeah. It felt like when I sent to her. When I send to people normally, I could sort of like get the fact that they like received it. But like when I reached out this time, it was just like darkness, just a void.
So she's avoiding you.
Oh.
She is. But why would she do that?
Can you send to an undead person, or is it only to living creatures?
I mean, he sent to Aiden.
Well, he's alive, isn't he?
Parts
Because
of
I think
him.
that's
Undead
up for
bits.
debate. Yeah.
Yeah.
So you can be like 45% undead and it'll still go through.
I mean, you know, in the past when I've tried to send to any creature, it would have worked.
I wonder if you tried to send to the Night King right now, if you would reach him.
We're not familiar
Ooh.
enough.
I don't want to be.
Are you sure? Because maybe.
So I think
Also-
He's out
you
of
used-
sendings.
did you
right?
use up
Hmm.
all your sendings?
Yeah, I did.
Yeah.
Because the last one was to Aiden. So
Well,
Kayla,
speaking of the Night
Maybe
King,
he'll come send back.
while we're here, we're supposed to be finding out information about him, aren't we?
That's
So-
true.
Well,
If we-
finding Ilra and Mirren are too as well.
Yeah. So
Maybe.
Ooh.
before we leave, because obviously we need to get back to Westgate as soon as possible to like find out what's going on with Caliph. But before we leave, we should make sure to get that information. So maybe we can go do that now.
Mhm.
Okay. So what are you going to do?
We're gonna
Uh,
ask
Well,
about
Rogar, who should we ask for information?
Yeah, someone told us we should ask around because he's half drow. Right? Narcy. Narcy suggested, I think.
Well, and Shay.
Or Shay.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
So,
That was so long ago, and I've had so many stressful things happen that I don't even.
I've been joking around,
Remember.
but Rogar is sort of still pretty shaken. I mean, he just faced the Bogglewumps,
Yeah.
and then the whole thing went horrible with Caliph.
Very
And
horrible.
all the dwarves are like, we're really pissed at us, and also, so he's been like trying to like calm feathers, and at the same time like kind of freaking out a little bit. But so if you ask him, he'd probably like wait, like back there was that what was her name, Timor or something like that, who greeted us when who gave us that lovely stone soup when we arrived. She's the outpost leader and the guard
Typhon is her name.
and the guard who met us at the guard captain who met us at the gate. I think everybody has to basically go through them. So I'm sure they would be on top of any news or gossip or rumors.
Okay, worth a shot.
And there's
Yeah.
a couple of taverns I think I saw as we passed to the Sharinlar temple. There was a tavern, although I'm not sure if you'd be.
Do they have real food?
Well, like stone soup, I'm sure they do.
Stone soup
Is
is
that all
real
you guys
food?
eat here? Because
You
I
mean
think I
like
found the
human food?
cause of the bleakness.
Well, there's probably a nice, good like mushroom salad and like some good always some good like goat meat on on a spit and
Okay.
some goat cheese.
That I'm down.
A nice maybe a nice
You
like
put
like
rocks
a no,
in
a nice stone wheat flatbread with goat and goat cheese and mushrooms.
Mm.
It's on the menu today. You're welcome.
Well, the dwarves will feed you.
But
Maybe
will Artemis
not-
eat it?
Maybe not as well as you'd like, but it is decent food. Now that you are sort of friends of the community rather than just unwanted guests,
randos.
they bring you out meat and cheese and
Oh,
very,
okay.
very hard bread, that kind of stuff.
Well, Artemisia will have the cheese at least. She's
And they're
kind
like,
of
well,
not eating as delicately as she usually does. Just FYI, like she didn't eat for several.
thank you for doing this service for us, for driving those drow back into the caves. I'm sure we'll have no further problems. Hey.
Yeah, that's how drow work. Mhm.
Yeah. I mean, I'm not super familiar with drow, but I'm not familiar with them. You should probably steal that.
Oh, we kind of sealed the cavern. That's where we do all our mining. Where do you think all these raw materials come from? That's the lifeblood of the outpost.
Yeah, you got to mine your soup, I guess.
It's a soup mine.
We
wow.
do find
I
things
love
growing
that
in the
idea.
depths, and they are important flavorants.
Mm.
Hmm.
Do you guys know anything?
Would you like some mushroom brandy?
I
Oh, it's
mean,
good stuff.
Well, the essential
yeah,
minerals
I
and
I
guess.
Roll a constitution save.
It'll take a polite amount.
Okay,
But no.
it's real strong and very, very fun guy ish.
Just a
This is-
little taste and not a lot.
Mm.
Definitely don't want to be
Taste.
drunk in a strange place.
The dwarves describe it as tasting fungi.
Does it have? Do they roast the mushrooms over burning peat bog?
The Sturge
Is it
asked us.
Scotch?
Yeah, is this like
Okay.
Broig on steroids?
The dwarves get real excited when you ask about this, and they tell you the whole process of roasting the mushrooms and aging them in the bog and the mountain, and yeah,
Mm.
they're real
Oh.
proud.
We are supposed to be asking about the Night King.
Yeah, we need somebody who can give us some information about somebody called the Night King. So you can tell Sturge about
No.
the mushrooms, and then
Okay, you're asking the dwarves if there's somebody? Okay, they look at each other like, well, that doesn't sound nice.
No,
That doesn't
it's
sound
very
happy
not
at
nice.
all. It sounds like the kind of thing that Moradin would like to smash, eh? And they elbow each other.
Man, we will team up with Moradin on this one, but we need to
Yeah.
find him. And someone suggested we might be able to find out more about him because he's half drow. You have any half drow coming out of here? Going
Well,
off to Westgate to make their fortune as a vampire, perhaps?
they look at each other in confusion. And they're like, well, you could ask maybe the elders here at the outpost, but we're still fairly recent. We just built this outpost in the last few years.
I'm supposed to find out here. I'm so confused. Are we gonna go chat with the drow? I don't think they're gonna tell us anything except Dagger Eye.
Well, we are very close to the ancient city of Old Shanatar. Perhaps that is what your
Oh,
friend was advising you to check out. And the dwarves are like, oh, Old
So glad you-
Shanatar.
I'm so glad you thought of that, dwarf person. Diesel,
like-
I'm guessing? There's been a couple of diesels.
The name's Dazel. That's right.
My apologies.
Oh, and also, is there anybody who knows magic who could maybe read a rune?
They blink at the rune. And one of them leans over the table to look at it more closely. I'm like, oh, whoa, that's a mighty rune there. Aye, you have to consult somebody who knows things of magic, but is beautiful.
Oh,
Can you tell me who gave you that tattoo? I've been looking for one myself, and that'd be a fine one.
What is
was a
it of?
ghost in the
What's in the what?
Complete
your
that
sentence.
word. Complete
Complete
the
the
sentence.
Sorry, Astral.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Oh my god.
He looks at it very, very closely. It's not a word. It's a and one of the doors like concept. That's what it is. It's a concept.
Hmm.
Okay,
Oh,
what's it?
This is the guy who mixes up his words, right?
Okay,
Who you
yeah.
met before. It's like, yes, it's a concept. It's something about power and loneliness,
Oh.
and isolation and return.
And I'm fine waiting for you. It's all okay. And don't be sad, Artemisia. I bet that's in there too.
No, I'm
Go
not
back
getting
right
any of
now.
that.
Well, it's,
Well, I mean, maybe
you're not
you
a
know-
wizard, right? So
Yeah, maybe you know magic better than I do, Lassie.
just maybe.
I just know Dwarvish pretty well. And I also know bad Dwarvish. 2 languages, Dwarvish and bad Dwarvish.
That's impressive.
Yeah. Ain't that right, ladies? And they're like, oh, yeah. He seems to be having a good time.
Sturge is listening to the mushroom chat, but he's clearly not present. He's thinking of something else and stroking his hairless chin.
And his nose.
Yeah. I think
Twiddling the end of his nose.
I think Stong will sit next to Sturge and he'll say, is there something bothering you, my friend?
What did you see me do in the cave when the drow were there?
You tried really, really hard to murder all of them. Like, a lot harder than usual. Like, obsessively hard.
Yes, that's because he points at the sword that's in its sheath beside him and says, it was making me fight. It was very awkward. I couldn't retreat. I couldn't do anything tactical. I just had to keep fighting.
Sturge doesn't like fighting. It's very uncomfortable.
I like to fight and win, not fight and take hits.
Damage. Oh.
Yeah. You didn't disengage a single time, and I thought that was really uncharacteristic of you.
Yeah, it's bothering me. If this god wants me to kill drow, he needs to understand that the best way for me to do that is to be tactically wise. If he wants a brute with armor and rage to go in there, he picked the wrong guy.
Oh, Stong held up his hand when you said that, and
Yeah,
then, like,
you-
puts it down again, like afterwards. He's like-
I feel I have to negotiate with this creature. Anyway, I don't know. I'm going to figure it out.
Eric, is there some role I can make for about like negotiating with gods, like religion, perhaps? Do I know any stories or songs about it?
About negotiating with gods.
Mm-hmm.
Sure, make a religion check.
Religion check.
Hmm.
Religion check.
Who?
It is going to be a 23.
Dang!
Yeah, 19 plus 4. Get those high rolls out early before we do combat. Then all low.
Before they're really necessary.
Yeah, before we
Yeah.
have to fight something. Yeah.
I am ready.
Let's see. So you know a number of stories about negotiating with gods. There are numerous stories where people like plead for the blessing of a god when they're doing something related. Like somebody might plead for the blessing of Tempest when they're going into battle. Someone might plead for the blessing of Sune when they're about to serenade their, forbidden love on a terrace. In terms of deals with gods, you recall the story of the Dark Three.
Sturge, I recall the story of the Dark Three because I know you hate begging and pleading with anybody, let alone a god.
Okay, let me summarize this for you. So the Dark Three were three very powerful mortal beings. One a great warrior, one a great wizard, and one a great rogue, essentially.
They walked into a bar.
Well,
I'm sorry.
they forged a pact to achieve godhood or die trying. And they scoured the lands and the realms and the plains below. And finally, they came to the god of the dead, Jurgle, who offered them a pact. He would give up his power, which was great, if they accomplished certain tasks for him. Unfortunately, he only wanted to give it to one of them. And so he was willing to step aside so long as one of them would take his power. And of course, and they would then keep him thereafter as an advisor for them. But of course, they would have to decide amongst themselves who would gain the power. And at this point, they squabbled, they fought, they fought for days with each other. They all had great powers, great skills to save them from death, until finally, indifferent to their wants, but tired of seeing them battle and not wanting to watch them die from exhaustion, Jurgle said, "I shall resolve this with a game of skill. Take ye these 3 knuckle bones," and he broke 3 of his own fingers off.
That's
And
pretty
he
metal.
said, you will play this game, and whoever of you wins shall gain the first part of my power. And the one who emerged the winner became the god Bane, god of hatred, strife, and tyranny. The one who came in second place became the god Merkel, who took reign over the dead. And the one who came in third was Baal, the god of death and murder. So that's the story
Baldur's
of the
Gate
dark,
shout out.
of the Dark Three. Or, as humans refer to them, the Dead Three, because all 3 of those deities supposedly died many, many years ago.
And they were just lucky there wasn't a ranger in that part, because then he would have just won, right? Ranger would have totally.
Well, the ranger probably would have died somewhere around 5th level. So.
Too
Oh,
true.
no.
So wait, are you telling me that there are 2 gods of the dead? One was named
No, no,
Merkel and one was named Jurgle?
2 of the gods that are associated with death are named
No, I'm
Merkel
not
and
telling you
Jurgle.
that, Stephen. I'm saying that there are lots of gods of the dead, 2 of whom, like
Yes.
Aaron just said, are named Jurgle and Merkel.
Merkel and Jurgle were.
And they
Oh,
were
no.
Smurfs. You left out the
And
part about they
Brandy
were
was
Smurfs.
smited.
Yeah.
Okay.
If you want to go with a more sophisticated pronunciation, it could be Jergal, right?
That's
This is somewhat more sophisticated, or Mirkal,
that's still
which isn't
not.
necessarily better.
No.
So I guess to summarize it for you, Sturge, it sort of sounds like if you make a deal with the gods, it doesn't end up well for somebody. And usually that somebody is you.
As long as nobody names me Merkel after, or Schmergle or Sturgle, I'll be.
Sturgill.
I'm going to remember this. I'm writing it down in my D&D notebook. Okay?
The dark god Sturgill.
But I guess it also sounds
Dark
like
God Sturgill.
oh my god. It also sounds like Sturge. Oh my god. It all sounds like Sturge that you can propose a game or some sort of challenge to this god. And they like those sorts of things.
Thank you. It almost seems this. I still don't regret doing this. I I think I'll keep this sword sheathed a lot. But yeah. Thank you, Stong.
Yeah, no problem. Just if you get any crazy dark urges, and he like glances at the spot where Kalith was and the ceiling, please talk to one of us first.
Oh my God, I hope she doesn't take the name Kurgle.
I highly doubt she will.
So I want to say,
Kegel.
Oh, Kegels. Oh my God.
wow.
Oh no. Anyways.
Wow.
Okay.
Okay, there are a couple of things that I want to point out. I'm going to write down Kegel, Don Kegel.
Oh no.
Hey, Emily, while you were gone,
Yeah,
Oh,
we've
God.
renamed you.
or God Kegel. Number 2, Starshin and Ruin are there. Starshin is really tired because he spent most of his healing magic healing people. Like Sturch was down to 2 hit points, okay? So Starshin is like, he's sitting there and he's like, oh yeah, yeah, I'm doing well. And Ruin is there and he's sitting there across the table from Rogar, and like they do this thing where they like their eyes meet and then they like, oh.
Well, maybe
like he's nudging Rogar's foot under the table.
maybe we should go check out this city while we wait for Scarcer to get
Where?
back.
Scarcer.
Scarcer, sorry.
Where is the city?
Deep Shanatar. No. No.
And everything goes
What?
quiet for a second.
Yeah.
What?
And then the
No, no.
door to the tavern building bursts open, and a dwarf in bright colors holding a lyre comes in. And he says, "Did someone say Deep Shanatar?"
Nobody expects
Did-
the Deep
did-
Shanatar.
And the other
Yeah.
dwarves are like, the entertainment has arrived. And he says, I am Dazzle, and I am here to dazzle you with tales of old
my God.
Shanatar. Oh, and you've never
my
heard a
God.
lyre sound quite like this. It's just, just deep, discordant booming.
Oh,
sound.
awesome.
Dong is really into it.
Yeah, I hold
Metal.
up
Clearly.
Mirabelle to check it out.
And he's singing stories of this ancient dwarven kingdom that fell at least 2,000 years ago, 3,000 years ago. It's unclear. He says it both ways in his story.
Hmm.
But
Inconsistency
apparently,
is like the best oral tradition.
Shanatar, Deep Shanatar, was a sprawling dwarven kingdom of 8 different of sub-kingdoms that all worshipped a different member of Moradin's court. And he goes into detail about each one. And just, I can give you a whole list and stuff. It's just a lot of lore to dump on you.
I
So,
feel like Cecilia would 100%
singing you this epic dwarven ballad about their heritage and history. And you see even some dwarves who had been looking listless and bored of life kind of like stir up a little bit, like they get a little bit more amped and more excited while Dazzle is singing.
Well, that's what they need. Like Bard.
That's
24/7.
true.
Yeah. So does he have a hat, or when he takes a break, can I like flick a coin at him?
You
Oh,
want to
like
toss a
that.
coin to your Dazzle?
Yeah.
I thought you were going to
Yeah,
that. I don't know why.
He at one point during the song, like he takes a break for a tankard of ale, right? And he flips up his helmet and puts it down, and people put coins and small gems and things in it.
Yeah, so I'm gonna put in some gold pieces. I'd like to put in I don't know, more than the usual amount. So if everybody else is putting in like 1, I'd like to put in 2.
Well, most people are putting in like coppers and silvers. So if you put in gold, that would be a lot.
Okay, 1 gold piece.
The dwarves look at you, and they look at each other, and they go, they grab their purses and they start counting out more silver coins to put in.
Okay.
Nice.
You started a war.
Well, I nod and I say, the life of an artist is hard, so every bit of coin helps. Thank you, generous dwarves. So I'd like to find Dazzle.
That is coming up with more names. So.
Oh my goodness, there's so many.
So yeah, Dazzle is drinking at the bar,
I'd like to ask him
flirting
about his,
uproariously with the bartender, as all bards do. Just canon. I don't make the rules. All right.
Stog, you better get on that, I guess.
Yeah, I'd like to, I guess, buy him a drink and thank you. That was an amazing song.
Well, it's only a quarter done. I only gone through 2 of the sub-kingdoms of Shannon.
Oh, did everybody
At this
hear
rate,
that?
I'll be done by high sun. And all the dwarves are like, hey.
Friends, there's
We might have
75% of the song left.
I'll cut to the chase. Deep Shanatar is now occupied by the Duergar, and the Gold Dwarves, we sent an entire army against them and fought for 100 years trying to take back Deep Shanatar, and in the end, never did. So I don't know that we'd have. Well, I don't know. Maybe we can sneak in when a whole army could not.
Well, here's the question. Can the bard just tell us what we need to know about the Night King without having to go to Deep Shanatar? Because right now I'm rocking like a serious adrenaline crash after all that Kalis stuff, and that song made me sleep. And there's 75% more song.
Mhm.
What?
Oh, Song is super hurt. Like he would love to have a long rest and then do some more
Oh, I
Kalis
thought you-
fishing, but
I thought you meant emotionally hurt because I didn't want to listen to the song.
oh no.
I was like, oh, dang.
The only person who's hurt me emotionally is Kalith, and Kalith's not here.
So, like I said, Sarshan did heal some people. So if you needed some healing, he would have healed you, Song. But that basically renders him useless. Like all of his spells are used up, and all of his land hands is used up.
We need to show him where the sleeping rocks are.
Well, he's
He
sitting.
might not care as much as we did.
We didn't really establish where everyone was sitting, so I'm going to say he's sitting between Cecilia and Artemisia, and he's just kind of like,
We're just bouncing him back and forth.
So.
Well, I mean,
Okay.
maybe we should rest, and then
We won't have any way to contact Caliph until tomorrow, and that doesn't even work, does it?
yeah.
Well, I could try later to see what happens. Who knows?
Or you
Cecilia's. Go ahead.
You could try Aiden again and have him tell us what he knows, because obviously he saw her.
If he's alive still,
What would you all like to do?
I think resting is a good idea.
Yeah, let's rest.
Although we should ask this bard guy if he knows anything about the Night King. He's the storyteller. He's striking up a relationship where you can exchange professional secrets like that. I don't know.
Oh
Bard
yeah,
knows
we're
good call.
becoming
I
familiar
guess
with
you
each
swap
other.
things.
It's like a friendship montage happening right now. Drinking together. I'm like teaching him a secret handshake.
Nice.
He's showing you some moves on the lute.
Dude, I would love that.
You're trying on different bard outfits.
Yeah. Hey.
So yeah, Dazzle is he's having a okay. I'm gonna need you, Stong, to make a charisma check.
Oh
please.
god, no.
Mhm.
You'll never
Persuasion
want to be
can
my
work.
friend. Oh, 10, okay.
Okay. So like
You signal
you're
you
having an
need
okay
help.
conversation. You don't think that you've penetrated into his good graces exactly. Like you're colleagues, not friends.
Cecilia.
But at some point, he does go back to doing the second 2 parts of his song. Well, he's about to start when the door flies open again.
Or
And
like
another
such dramatic
dwarf.
entrances.
Yes, another dwarf dressed very similarly to Dazzle, but like the opposite colors, like the reds and the blues are reversed. He comes in and he says, "I shall complete your song, brother." And Dazzle says, "Ah, yes. I shall
what did you
yield
do?"
the floor to my brother.
Yes.
Razzle. And Razzle
Chat.
says, aha, here we go. And he
Chat
pulls out
is-
his instrument, which is a drum, and he starts pounding on the drum, and the whole place starts
Oh my God.
vibrating.
Chad is such a bad influence on our DM.
Good job, chat. Good
No.
job.
No.
All right. Shay, this is mostly your fault, but I'm blaming all of chat. So, all right.
Well,
So it is
Great.
impossible to rest in here or
Yes.
think.
Yeah,
in
let's
here.
go to the Sleeping Rocks. Artemisia wants to like see if she can pull Ruan aside. Like
Old Barakur. It's a lot. That's what I'm saying.
I'm so torn because I'm like, I want to hear all the songs about the dwarven kingdoms, please. What is it?
yeah.
And then Cecilia would not. She would be like, okay, cool
No,
story. Bye.
this ain't it, Chief. No.
I think Stone would stay and listen, try to learn some info.
Okay.
Okay.
We're splitting the.
You could drag him
still-
out. You could just tell
No,
him
that's
to go.
okay.
no, there's no reason
No,
to.
we split the party in way more dire situations than this.
I mean,
What's the
that is
worst
true.
that could happen?
Yeah, that's right. What's the worst that could happen?
Okay, so
And-
Song is going to remain. Who else? Rogar, are you going to remain?
I mean, it
I
actually
mean, to
is
you,
rather nice.
this is just like, this is comforting. It's kind of nostalgic,
Right,
really.
It's home. It's homecoming. At some
Yeah.
point, I know I have to go up to the High Priestess because there's the whole thing where the Holy Mother's coming. I should be staying, but I'm not going to. So
Yeah.
it's
Well, the
really-
High
have to get outta
Priestess
here
and
before
the
she shows
Second
up.
Priestess, all the priests of Sharinlar retired after
Right.
the battle, so they're like asleep, as far as you know.
right. So okay, in the morning then.
All right, so you're gonna stay here.
Oh,
All right.
I don't know. Is
sisters-
Ruin staying here?
Well, hold
I mean,
on.
for no reason. I don't.
The sisters, you're both gonna go.
Mhm.
Okay. Ruin gets up to go with you, but then sees that Rogar is going to stay, and he sits back down. And he says, "I'm
no, I
fine.
Mhm.
I would like another beer, please."
Sturge is going to get up and join the sisters.
He grabs Cecilia's shirt sleeve while she's walking by, and he's like, "You don't know how to deafen anyone, do you?"
If you leave, I bet Rogar will come. too.
What?
I'm just gonna
All
point
right.
that out.
He's like, "It's worth
I
it.
also know when to tell if somebody's lying.
It's worth it."
Well, so is Artemisia close enough to hear Ruan like?
Hear Ruin shouting at Cecilia to be yeah.
Okay, so Artemisia is gonna circle back to Rogar, and
Right.
be like, Rogar, well, shouting as much as Artemisia ever shouts. She speaks in a projecting sort of tone. I don't know if we can find our way around, so could you come with us for now to find
Oh.
where we rest?
I suppose we can. I mean, I can.
It's still going on. I'm just saying.
I'll just snag a couple of ales to go, and sure, let's head back.
Ruin's like, that's
Oh.
a great idea. You see a little bit of blood leaking out of one of his ears.
I actually have blindness, deafness, so I was gonna like kindly cast it. I don't know if you needed it, but yeah. Okay, here we go.
Okay. Okay.
Oh.
All right. So it's just Dong staying.
He's got
Okay.
It's just Mirabelle and I guess. We're the party
Mirabelle's like,
people.
Do you want us to take Mirabelle so you don't damage your hearing?
Well, does she seem sleepy?
She looks up at you and she says, "Barcor."
Oh no, she loves this sort of stuff, and her ears are probably stronger than mine.
That does not surprise me.
All right. So,
right,
Stong,
party
you
split.
gather a little bit of lore, and just it's basically adding to your Jack of all trades lore, right?
Okay.
But it's going to give you certain bonuses regarding dwarf stuff. So
Cool.
keep that in mind. All right. But that's going to be another hour or two that you're staying in the tavern. All right. Everyone else goes out. And like When you go out, the night is shockingly quiet. There's like your ears are ringing a little bit. You know that sensation where you hear quiet? Yeah, it's called tinnitus. All right. So,
Well, to be fair, the taverns most places have like slate roofs. The taverns have copper roofs because it helps create that good resonance.
yeah, the roof is vibrating
Hmm.
like a wave, like a copper wave. That might be the name of the tavern. I don't
The
know.
copper wave.
It's the off ramp, also known as the
Delightful.
down below.
Oh,
There you go. That makes sense. There is a ramp, obviously, to get up into the tavern. The dwarven outpost is extremely well built for wheels and accessibility. Unlike Westgate, which is a ADA nightmare.
Just like
this
Seattle.
feels like everybody indivially went, I'm building this.
And those Shar temples, man, they're just not up to OSHA code either. Not
Exactly.
our fault. Anyway, moving on.
Like, you
All
build a load building statue or a load bearing statue into your temple, you get what's coming to you.
Okay. I want to address this point about the load bearing stuff. Now, when this cavern was carved out, there were a number of columns, and you could tell this, like in retrospect, thinking about this, and you think they carved a statue out of one of the columns. So the column was there originally, and it was a perfectly good load-bearing column.
Until they
did
reduced
something
it.
really dumb, which was carving it into a statue. I mean, real bad for the city.
Yeah.
For
Faultless
reasons that are
shards.
now historical.
Totally got it. Definitely not our fault.
Chat, if you are not familiar with that episode, one of us will look up what number that is.
One of us will. Okay.
That was quite an episode. That was epic. That was the Stong gorilla. That was just amazing.
Donkey Stong.
Yeah,
Or
Donkey
Donkey Kong.
Kong through the Duchess of.
Don't throw it. Don't
Spoil
You don't like just go to the ending. It's a really great episode. You should watch it. And here's the ending.
Oh.
I think it was episode 14.
All right.
Wow. So long ago.
Yeah, it was
No.
back in April.
It
Anyway,
was amazing. It was amazing. It was a
15 years
situation that absolutely should have failed. We should.
oh yeah, you definitely should have died.
Oh my God.
It's not the first time, it's not the last.
It's one of those cases where the dice just changed everything.
Okay, so you're outside the tavern.
And Artemisia is she's gonna sort of like give Sarshan a little like push towards where she actually knows the beds are anyway.
The camping.
Yeah, she didn't
Yeah.
know. She didn't
Huh,
really
you're-
Sleeping
know.
rock.
So
Yeah.
helpful, sister.
Oh my God.
I'm fine. I'm just very weary, it happens
Can you
sometimes.
walk?
I can walk. He staggers into ruin, pushes him
Okay.
back into
Right.
Cecilia, and now he's
Cecilia's
leaning
gonna-
on Cecilia.
Grab Sarshan's arm
Okay, good.
because if he falls over and hits his head on a rock,
Oh,
that's bad news.
it's so good to have guidance.
Where are the sleeping rocks?
It's not very far from the tavern.
How
So
do
you head over that way. You put
Yeah.
Sarshan to bed, basically. Okay.
just be like
Yeah.
this spot?
He lies
What's the
down.
bed here.
Again, elves don't sleep, but what he's doing looks very much like sleeping.
You
He
say
kind of
that.
curls up
Mm.
like an animal, like a wolf, and just
Aw.
And as we're walking back
Adorable.
to the sleeping camps, I'll say to Ruin, a lot of shadows out here. I'm worried there might be bogglewomps. Maybe we'd better hold hands
it's probably a good idea.
on the way back.
He grasps
Oh my God,
Rogar's
they're
hand.
such
He's
dorks.
like,
I love
"This is
it."
a certain amount of magic to this. I can feel it. Can you feel it? Please say yes."
I think I can.
Excellent.
Well,
I'm glad that we're protecting everyone by holding hands. This is
Me
important.
too. This is it's very important.
Artemisia was like sidling up to Ruan to see if she could like have a private word, and then she sees
Oh.
that and she's like, "Oh, and she'll be over here now."
Sorry.
She wasn't crowding them at all.
walked right into that one, didn't you? I mean,
Okay,
All right,
so it's
Cecilia.
nighttime, right?
Yeah, Cecilia, you come back from making sure Sarshan is
dropping Sarshan on the floor
unconscious.
somewhere.
Yeah,
Um,
it is
it's
early
nighttime,
hours of
right?
the night. Yeah,
Okay. So we
like
like
like the equivalent of like 2 a.m.
oh, got it. So normal
So-
sleeping time.
so if I were to sit down
Mm-hmm.
and draw the sword and lay it across my knees and let the sisters know that if I stand up and start walking towards the mine, that it would be great for them to find a way to painlessly stop me.
Like a lightning bolt.
Shush.
You want speed or painless? Because you can have one.
So I need to ask the man in the sword some questions.
The man in this, have you explained this to us?
Well, the elf, you've seen him. You saw him, remember, in the cave on the ass.
Oh,
Yeah, and he told you don't
Brandy.
touch the sword, and then you touch the sword. He's in the sword?
Yes, he's part of the sword.
Okay. Weird.
Yes, it is weird. He probably is rubbing his hands with glee at the opportunity of laughing at me, and probably can't wait for me to enter the sword and talk with him.
Why don't you just not talk to him?
Well, because he knows things. And you see, while I was scrumming with those drow, I lost all control of myself on several occasions because
You need a fresh pair of pants.
the Lord of the Sword took over.
Oh, so much potty humor tonight.
I
Sorry, go
told you about him, didn't I, Cecilia?
I don't. Oh, suddenly I remember.
Yes.
Hole
So
in the ground.
it's so strange.
Oh, that's what happens. You have to fight drow or all things.
But it seems drow. You know the story
Oh my God.
of
That's what it wants. Do I know the story of what?
it, Sheverash. Ruan, or no, it was Sorshan told us about him.
Oh, that's right. I was there. Okay, so Cecilia did remember this. Sorry.
So
Maybe it didn't strike a bell immediately, but then you're like,
shiver,
oh
shiver.
right,
What? Oh,
Yes,
that
that's
guy.
right.
Black
so
arrows.
Here's the story, just to refresh, and so Artemisia knows what we're talking about. There was at one time a great elven hero named Sheverash who was at an event where the dwarves and elves got together to rebuild their own alliance, and the drow swarmed out of the Underdark and slew everyone. And he was there, and he, I believe, died at the occasion, or if he didn't die then, he swore vengeance then and then died later and came back like a revenant.
death would not stop Cheverash.
Yeah. And it's like the feeling I got when he entered my mind was like, you know what they say of ghosts who die and come back for revenge, and that's all they can think of. That's what this felt like. All he could think of was, I have to kill drow, and it didn't matter if it was smart to do it this way or not. You do it. And when I didn't do it, it hurt. I can resist it, but he's strong, and I need to talk to this old elf in the sword and find out what my options are.
I feel like your option is go live on a boat
Mm.
away from the drow forever.
Well,
Throw it. Can you throw the sword in a ravine?
well, that's one question I'll
Or
ask.
Get
But
somebody else to pick it up. I mean, I
That's-
guess you could probably tempt them into it by telling them not to pick it up.
Mm,
I feel like
That
you
seems
tell
a
one of
proven
these.
strategy.
I feel
All
like
of
you
these
should
things.
tell one of these dwarves that it's a drow killing sword. They'll probably be down for it. They do not want to shut that tunnel down.
mm,
Okay,
Well-
so you got to talk to your fellow sword brawl guy,
exactly. And
and you don't want him to. You think he's going to possess you?
no, I think when I draw the blade this near the drow, although when I sheathed it, I was able to sheath it when there were no drow around. When they were all dead, I could sheath it and be myself again. But I'm going to draw it. I assume that since there are no drow in the immediate vicinity, everything will be fine.
Okay.
But I don't know. And
All right.
if you can cast sleep upon me or something painless like that, in the case that I do, that would be
Are you
great.
beat up enough for sleep to take
Operation
effect?
Sleep Rats.
I have an idea. Here's a
I'll
wand.
witch bolt him first, so we make sure that sleep works.
Gonna lower his hit points to below
Yeah.
a certain
You better-
threshold.
You
better
don't want
hex
to
him.
cast. Yeah, there we go.
Here's a wand.
Okay.
Use it on me. The
What's the
paral-
wand? Oh,
paralysis.
paralysis.
Wand of
Ah,
paralysis.
Good call.
Steven?
I will try not to resist it. And then while I'm standing there paralyzed, get the damn thing out of my hand.
Okay. Wait, if we touch it, are we gonna end up cursed?
I don't think so.
You better
But
make sure.
Well, remember the what were those things? The Scar people. They
Yankee.
took it. They took it. Yeah, the Gith Yankee took it and onto their ship. I didn't.
Oh, and they didn't get cursed. Okay.
The man, the elf on the sword said I was
There's
chosen.
some rules that I feel like they have not explained to you thoroughly that might
Well,
matter.
He said I was
But-
chosen.
Some rules you
Oh.
don't know that might matter.
Seems like this universe is being controlled by a capricious god of some sort who lives to make you suffer.
Mhm.
All right.
So
I am
anyway,
curious if I can banish it.
If-
I think it has to be a person though. Is a sentient sort of creature?
that's a good-
That's a really good question. I don't think so. I think it is an object, not
Okay,
a
fair.
creature.
Ooh, okay. Well, so I don't want to hijack this entire session, so I just want to
All
let.
right.
Okay. So I sit and I. Let's see. I'll try it this way. I'll cast Mage Hand and hold on to the scabbard in one hand and draw the sword in the Mage Hand and lay the sword across my lap.
Okay.
So far, so
Sword
good.
does weigh slightly less than 5 pounds. So yeah, you could do that.
So far, so good.
Hmm.
All right, I'm going to say, well, old man, old elf, this is your time to gloat. Would you like to join us and have a conversation about the folly in which I've engaged?
You just say that out loud.
I do, but I sort of say it into the sword. I sort of direct it in there. The last time I was able to talk to him, I had to cast Identify to do it, and that brought me in. But maybe if I...
Stephen, I just want to point out too, you're talking, I think you're set up today, your camera's to your side. So you've been talking.
Yeah, there you go. Now
Hi.
you're looking at us.
How you doing?
Yeah, okay.
It's
Do
okay.
I-
We don't hold it against you.
Do I-
No.
Do I feel anything? Do I feel him?
You do feel a faint sense of like openness to conversing with you.
Hmm.
But largely, you're just sitting there in the middle of the dwarf compound talking to yourself.
Do I feel okay? I will lay a hand on it,
Okay.
on the sword, and I will concentrate on entering the dark insides of the sword where the old elf lives.
Okay. So the sisters, you are watching him do this.
Yep.
One of you's ready with that wand.
Yep.
Okay.
Did you take
Well,
it because you're more responsible, or did
Which
I
of you
snatch-
has the wand?
Well, I mean, Artemisia can cast sleep, so
Okay,
maybe
then I'll hold
Cecilia
paralysis.
should have it.
Could banish
Okay,
Surge to
okay.
pocket dimension. Just saying.
Oh, that's a good call.
If I have to.
Yeah.
So
Then
you
we can
just
find
you
out where you go when I do that.
see Sturge sitting there kind of meditating with the sword for a long time, and then his head just kind of droops down and his chin touches his chest and his nose extends halfway down his body.
Mm.
And then you're standing there for another minute, and then he starts snoring. Like he snores really loud because there's the real big nose.
Good enough.
Okey-doke.
Well, I mean, Artemisia isn't gonna like just go to sleep herself just yet, but she's gonna go see like if Ruan is still like
Yeah.
what he's
Me-
doing, and
Let me cut over to that for a second. So, Rogar,
Hi.
You're hanging out with Ruan. No one's paying attention to you just at the moment. So you're just hanging out and you're, just being together, and you're really, really tired because you've been up for, an entire day at this point.
Aye.
And Ruan says, "It's okay if you want to sleep. I'll watch over you."
Oh. Oh, that's
Creepy.
very nice of you. So who will watch over you?
So Rogar just goes to sleep, and Ruan looks
It's
at
a
him.
long day.
And Ruan
Cleric
looks,
off, boggle womps.
Ruan looks down at him, kind of smooths his silver hair, and then he walks in a circle around Rogar a couple times, walks in a circle the other way, and then just kind of he settles down next to Rogar, and then he sits there. He's like, comfortable now,
Like a big wolf.
like a big wolf. But yeah, Ruan seems not in. He seems available if you want to go talk to him. You hear Rogar snoring. Between Rogar and Sturge, it is battle of titans. Like
maybe we can
competing
sleep better in
sawmills.
the tavern.
Like fire trucks that are going to run into each other. That's what it's like.
There's a hornet in my shed, so I'm gonna get it out. So
Oh,
Cecilia is just gonna
yeah.
be focused on.
Go ahead
while
and
I
do that, Aaron. It's all good.
Nobody be distracted by my antics here.
Well, so yeah, Artemisia is going to go over and see if she can talk to Ruan.
Okay.
I'm gonna hide Aaron's video because all I can do is look at her antics right now. Get
Just
it,
got a roll
Aaron.
of paper towels right now.
Yeah, you can do it, Aaron.
That's awesome. We're gonna hide your video, Aaron. Don't worry.
In a second. Don't no promises yet.
I mean, I'm sorry, chat. We're still gonna be able to see it, and it's probably gonna be hilarious. But
You get it?
How much XP do I get for that?
Oh, nice.
I will give you inspiration.
Nice.
You defeated a hornet.
We're on the milestone schedule, so
That's fair. I didn't think I'd get anything here. That's great.
all right. So yeah, Artemisia, you can go over and talk to Ruan. He looks very content, very pleased, relaxed. He didn't spend all his energy healing everybody. Unlike Sarshan, who is he's draped elegantly or semi-elegantly
He
over
went
a
from
stone.
like this to
He went from to
Oh, Sarshan.
and his leg is kicking. Like he's chasing a small animal in his sleep.
But and Artemisia is gonna keep looking over at Sturge, as long as she remembers. Which if the conversation gets
You
intense,
can hear
she might-
Sturge from here.
Okay. So it's all good then. Ruan, she keeps her voice down at first, but then as the snoring is going on, she's just I guess I might as well talk at normal volume. I wanted to talk to you, if that's okay.
Oh, of course. I'm here. As long as you don't wake up Rogar, but I suspect he points at Sturge, if he doesn't wake up Rogar, I'm not sure what will.
So
Please. He gestures to the mat across from him if you want to sit with him.
okay, yeah, she sits down, she stalls for a while, sitting very elegantly, etc.
You didn't eat very much at the tavern. Are you hungry?
Yes, but I mean,
He just produces his hands full of
Druid
berries and
food.
hands them to you.
she's very delicate, but she eats all of them.
Oh, they're very good. They're very good berries.
Oh man, you're gonna be full.
Good berries.
Those things are like those little foam animals that expand.
Just add stomach acid. Okay.
So Cecilia said that when she was a baby, or I mean a small child, she could turn into a wolf. And were you there when I was a baby?
Oh, yes.
Could I? Yes.
No, you never turned into a wolf. Mother was very disappointed.
Oh.
No, not in you, in herself for not producing a. You know what? Maybe that came out wrong. Ooh. Berry, I could do more berries.
Part of me, she's gonna eat them because she doesn't know. She's like, her face is like fallen. So that's why she got rid of me, wasn't it?
No. No. Oh, that's a very difficult question to ask.
Well, I mean, it's okay. Like, you don't have to worry. Like, it's fine. Like, I love my father, and I don't even care. And she's
no.
It doesn't take any check to tell that.
He takes your hand and he says, "No, you don't have." This is all coming out wrong. I'm sorry. You are very powerful, and you come from a very powerful bloodline, and it is not the same. You don't have the same power that our mother and I and our sister have, but you have your own power, and it is great. And mother, I think, could not handle that.
Oh. Oh. Well, that's...
I don't know her mind, but that is what I have come to believe over time.
Oh. Well. Okay.
Cecilia can't hear any of this, right?
Cecilia, you are just staring at a very snoring Sturge.
Am I still awake?
Yeah, well, I mean, you probably spent some time like tapping the wand against your other hand, tapping it against your face. And then maybe you sat down, or maybe you're going to go back to bed. I don't know. What do you want to do?
I definitely sat down. I feel like she'd be trying to stay awake, but I am open to failing at trying to stay awake. There's
Make a
role for that.
Constitution saving throw.
I rolled a 5.
Ooh.
You zap yourself with a wand. No.
That wasn't a 1. It was a 2 before I added my bonus.
It's fine. You just eventually fall asleep.
Okay. Hopefully you don't get possessed.
So Ruan, that probably means I wouldn't be able to turn into a wolf now, right?
Well, I don't know, but I'm not sure. Have you tried? No, I saw you try that one time. That's right. Sorry, I'm not laughing at you. I'm laughing at the scenario. Wait, that's kind of laughing at you. Okay. I don't know. Maybe you could turn into a wolf. I can turn into a wolf, but then I can turn into a number of different animals.
And I, Cecilia could do it as a kid, and I couldn't. So I mean, Sarshan thought I probably could, but you never know with Sarshan, like why he thinks what he does.
Indeed, all of a sudden, Sarshan lets out this big like, "Huh!" and he wakes up and he looks all around. Well, he falls off the thing he was sprawled over. He looks around. He says, "Oh, I'm sorry." He kind of like stalks off toward where Sturge and Cecilia are. And then he gets over there and he goes to Cecilia and he puts his cloak over her. And then he goes back.
Aww.
And he just sprawls again.
Well, I mean, I'll.
And Ruin's like, yeah.
I'll try, I guess. I mean, probably not right now, like in private, because I don't want everybody watching me fail at turning into a wolf.
Would you like me to help you? At some point?
Can you?
Maybe.
Yes.
I can help you meditate. That might help. Do you meditate?
Mm-mm.
Well, you should try it. It's very relaxing and helpful for focusing on doing things. You have a great deal of arcane talent that doesn't come through discipline and meditation.
Well, I mean, yes, it needs discipline, but sometimes it's intuitive. I mean, I don't know, because okay, so
Ruin is getting increasingly more excited. He's like, that sounds amazing, sister.
Marcelea always got like really mad at me that I didn't have discipline.
Oh yeah, Marcelea.
Oh, I forget that you met her as a wolf. Yeah, so
and
you
she
know.
kept looking at me like she knew. I don't know how you grew up in a home with I mean, like I grew up with our mother, and I don't understand how you could survive in a home with that woman. Ooh, wow.
I love that you have like a which mom is worse off in your life.
Yeah.
Well, she tried her best. What's our mother like?
Well, she cursed me never to speak to her again.
Yeah.
Apparently, I was really annoying.
Oh.
Well, it's
Or maybe it was because I betrayed her. I'm not really sure. Either way, it could be either way. I told you about that, didn't I?
no.
Oh, wait, that's him. He points at Sarshan. Sarshan's the one who tells you and sister everything. Sorry, I'm tired. It's a long story. Maybe I should tell you some other time.
All right. Just so you know, ask Cecilia, I don't give up. I just let things go for a while sometimes.
Start up, like, she does it. Just go back to sleep. That's enough.
Ruin's like, I do want to tell you the story. He moves the silver hair out of his eyes. He's like, I need to think of the right way to tell it, if that makes sense.
Well, that makes sense to me. You seemed like you were having trouble finding the right way to say other stuff. So
right, it's just I distracted by something. Roger goes. Everyone's like, "Oh, isn't that adorable?" I mean, right. I should probably meditate.
Whoa.
I'm really tired. I don't want to say the wrong thing. So, let us speak again.
okay.
Midnight tomorrow.
That
all right.
sounds good. Thank you.
Excellent.
So she's gonna go off, and then she's gonna like be like sitting on her own and like thinking so damn hard, like just it's all in her head. She's like, what do I even feel right now? And not sleeping.
It's
Like, not to
okay.
think.
I'll go do all this emotional labor by myself. Bye. I know. Poor Artemisia. I'm sorry.
Well,
Okay.
she's happier to know it than not know it.
Okay. So, time passes.
Did Song come back? You just gonna spend the whole night partying with the dwarf?
Stong,
The song doesn't end till noon, he said.
Yeah, till like
Fine.
first dawn or something.
Stong, you
He
wake
said
up.
high sun.
High sun.
That means
yes.
noon.
Oh.
You wake up to the
Like a ring
closing,
cycle thing.
the closing strains of a ballad of ancient Chanatar. And the sun has started to rise, and you're like, oh, it's over.
It's
And
so
then
beautiful.
Dazzle gets up and he says, "It's time for verse 7."
Yeah, verse 7. Yes. I look
Oh
at
my god.
Mirabelle. Is she asleep or is she waking up?
She's adorably asleep, but she wakes up when verse 7 starts. She's like,
Well, I could cast like a silence spell over, between her and the music, and the noise won't pass through.
"Yeah, if you want to."
Yeah, let's let her sleep a little longer,
Okay.
But I want to
She
listen to
wakes
all
up.
this.
She looks up at you. She looks at the bard, and she's like, "Huh." Falls back asleep.
Good girl.
I'll also want to point out Stong's neck's probably getting pretty cramped. He's a half orc in a dwarven tavern. So
Right. Even
Just-
sitting down, it's difficult.
Just
Yeah.
laying on the
Just
ground.
booty scooting my way across the tavern.
yeah.
Hi.
So I want to listen to this music, and I want to see if I can just pick out any information for if we do go to this city. A, and then B, if there's any mention of like illithids or like, other dangers or possible
Half-drow
dangers.
vampires.
Half-drow
Okay.
vampires. Yes.
So
Night
based
Kings.
based on what you've heard, Randy kind of summarized it a little bit before, but essentially the mind flayers took over one of the sub kingdoms of Xanatar, which was the kingdom that the Durgar came from, and they enslaved the Durgar to their minds and will, and then used the Durgar to foment war upon the other kingdoms, and they were instrumental in bringing down Xanatar. The Durgar were. Okay.
Mhm.
Song mentions mind flayers once, but since you had been thinking about it, you picked up on that reference. The song is mostly a nationalist sort of hymn about the difficulties with the Durgar. And, the Durgar, terrible, brought down Xanatar, that kind of thing.
Mhm. So
But you made the connection.
Stong will wait till the song is over. He would like to buy all the brothers. Is it 3 brothers or 4 brothers now? Or is it just still the 2?
Make a Constitution saving throw.
I thought there might be one per verse.
Per
chapter, I mean.
dwarven brother.
That's an 8.
You're pretty sure there are 4.
Oh, I'd like to buy all 4 of you.
Right, 2 of them are always standing next to each other. It's weird.
God.
Just separate for a moment so that I could like hug each of you. You're so great. Such great
There's
performance.
Dazzle, there's Razzle, there's Drizzle, and there's Dizzle.
Yeah.
You think? You're not really sure.
What a talented family you have. I'm so jealous. I wish I had siblings. Well, so Ston would like to buy them breakfast, and then he wants to ask them like explicitly.
They bring you stone ground porridge.
I eat some.
Yeah,
Some,
it
like-
tastes like porridge. It's very hearty.
This is more like porridge and less
Stick
like
to your
rock
bones,
than I
hearty.
expected. So, do you know have you heard anything about, vampires?
Vampires.
Long teeth, sucks blood, turns into fog, hates sunlight.
Well, there are tales of vampires who preyed upon the dwarven lands. Would you like to hear such a tale?
Are there any in particular about drow vampires?
Drow vampires, you say?
Maybe like a half drow?
He rubs his beard, which involves his hand going from his face down to like halfway down his body. Rubs it all the way down his beard. Half drow vampires, you say? That would be a very distinctive thing. Well, I know there are some old records and such in the caverns. Occasionally, we come across a book or more usually a tablet with information carved upon it. So maybe that would be where to look.
Oh, thanks. You are fine musicians and fine brothers, all 4 of you. And then Stone will
4 of
just
us
walk
They look at
away.
each other.
Yeah.
Well, they eat the 4 breakfasts you bought.
All right, go back and find my friends.
Okay. Outside, it is dawn, maybe a bell past dawn, right? I think all of you have at some point gone to sleep, rested,
Yeah.
you've had the benefit of a full rest. I should say it's actually a little later than that because it took you, that long to have the full rest. Sturge,
Yes.
you have communed with the sword.
Really?
Yeah.
Wait, in what way? You mean had a good sleep with it?
Well, I'm gonna let you ask me some questions. We're gonna do a vision +1 during the break. It's gonna be
Right.
Sturge and the sword. We do this, Yang Yang. Is that cool?
Sure, yeah.
All right. So
Okay.
in a few minutes, we're going to come back and it's going to be Steven and me. So, Steven, that means you can't run away and disappear like a Sturge special, like usual. But before we go to break, one thing. Scaresair and Nala have not returned from the caverns.
Oh no.
So,
Hmm.
don't go away, everyone. Come back to listen to our communion with the sword. And then we're going to find out a little bit about the fate of our disabled friends and their grudge against the illithids. Just a few minutes.
All right. Thank you.
We're back. Steven tried to do the old Sturge special once again, but
I
I've
made it.
caught him and he is communing with the sword. Thanks for not going away. We're going to hear how this goes down. So, Sturge, for everyone else, your slowly falling asleep took a long time. And they were sitting there bored. But for you, it was almost instantaneous. Like you were there and you put your hand on the sword, and the sword, it wasn't that it became bigger, it was more that like all of your focus went into it. And then you find yourself sitting in what appears to be some kind of like maybe a tavern. There are no other patrons. There's a table with one candle, and there are two cups of tea set in front of you. And at first you think you're entirely alone, and then you see the elf sitting across the table from you. And he's not as old as he was. He appears to be somewhat younger, like his hair is a little more in control. There's some gold in and amongst the silver of age. And he looks up at you, and he's dressed in black with a deeper black arrows crossed across his chest. And he says, "You have questions for me."
I do. Thank you.
Very well. What are they?
Who forged this sword?
I did.
You did.
Long ago.
From what did you forge it?
From pain and hatred.
You were a magician of some kind, as well as a smith?
In that time, magic and smithing were the same thing.
I just had a epiphany. Is it possible? I'm not saying this out loud. I'm just going to say it to you, the DM. Does Sturge realize in this moment, is it possible that this is the Cheverash before he became a god? This is the elf that was Cheverash?
Could be.
Oh my God. And he said he doesn't remember his name. He really is
He
like
said it's been a long time since he had a name.
Oh. I think I'm going to ask him straightforwardly. Are you the elf that was before Cheverash? Are you Cheverash?
That's a complicated question. I think I shall say no.
Were you Cheverash? The elf?
In a sense.
It was you. You were the one who was at the tragedy where the drow boiled up from the earth and slew elves and dwarves.
I have seen many tragedies such as you describe.
You were there, weren't you?
Perhaps.
Perhaps you can't remember, or perhaps it's none of my business.
As you like.
So there were no other bearers of the sword. There's you and me?
I am the bearers of the sword.
So there were more than one.
No.
I
I am many. And I am one.
You say I was chosen. Was there another chosen before me that was not the elf?
That
man?
was not you.
Yes, so it was
No.
not you. All right.
You are many. And you are also one.
That's a mystery.
He gestures with his hand down at the table, and you see between the two teacups are a number of black arrows strewn all around.
What happened to these others?
They are weak when separated. Each can kill a single drow, a single demon, a single man. But together, he gestures again, you see all the arrows in this neat pile, stack. They're unbreakable and can kill many. And will kill many.
What are these arrows? I don't understand. You're saying these arrows represent others who have wielded this sword?
They represent us. We are Shavrash's arrows. We are vengeance.
We are vengeance. I experienced something today when I drew the sword in the presence of Drow.
Yes.
Was it your voice that entered my mind?
Our voice.
I see. Shivarash, you are a hunter, yes?
He doesn't say anything.
A hunter understands the value of stealth in killing.
Yes. A hunter does. Shivarash understands the value of subtlety, of darkness, of shadow.
Today, when I, as you see, he looks down at himself, I am no warrior.
You are now wearing a black robe with deeper black arrows crossed across the front.
Lovely. I am no warrior. I wear no armor. I am no rage beast machine. I use stealth. And today, when encountering those drow, when I attempted to use stealth,
You are a coward.
no, I know that it's better to live another minute and slay another drow rather than to stand there and be smitten unnecessarily after
How many
I
drow did you slay?
cannot recall.
Did you die?
I did not. I would have
You
slain
make my
more.
point for me.
No, I would have slain more.
You think so?
I do.
You will prove this to me.
Ah, excellent.
Prove it to yourself.
I have no problem doing that. But
You do not yet have resolve, but you will.
You must understand, I am willing. I'm a willing accomplice in this vengeance.
Not yet, but you will be.
As you like, but I also need a longer leash so that I may kill better.
Earn it.
I will show you what I mean.
Very well. This is nostalgic.
Oh,
Yes, we have had this conversation before.
I wish another question, if I may, just one. Are you aware of the arch fiend that haunts my steps?
Yes,
Does it concern you at all?
It is the only concern.
What is it? Who is it? Name it if you can.
Not yet,
Well,
but in time.
would you say that this being who has never shown itself to me, but who has had its fingerprints all over my life, is an enemy of yours?
She is my only enemy.
Excellent. That's why I picked up the sword.
It is.
Thank you for this talk, and I will show you what I mean when next I draw the blade.
He reaches down, picks up his cup of tea. Do you do the same? All right, you look down for the tea, and when you look back up, he's no longer there. It's just you.
Mm.
You're wearing the robe, and you have the sword. And then you wake up, and it's morning.
Awesome.
Okay, we're back with everybody, and whenever Yang Yang gives me the signal, here's the spell.
Ta-da! It's done.
That was some shocking stuff.
Yeah, that was fun.
Oof, all right.
Face.
All right. A little bit of mystery.
Yeah, Steven's
Mystery and darkness
face
there.
during that was great. Your reaction to that was great.
I'm pretty sure Steven enjoyed that. So
I did. That was cool. I love it that he was so freaking cryptic too, because that's the way he ought to be. What the hell do you mean? I've been you before.
okay. Thank you for providing some good commentary there, chat. Hey Chev, no smiling. Yeah, it's fair. All right. Okay, so Stong, upon walking out of the tavern, you are suddenly hit by power radiating through your head. You were pretty sure it was just the hangover, but then you recognize the distinct flavor of magic. And you realize that this must be what it's like to receive a sending spell first.
Ooh.
Oh.
Whoa.
From who?
And that
Finally,
sending
all
spell-
my life I've been waiting for this. Somebody sent me first.
and that sending a spell, hold on, I have instructions. So you have probably all noticed that Emily is not with us at the moment. She's preparing for her next great quest, which involves child rearing. So I do have instructions that she left about what she says. So the message says the following. Hi, Stong. It's Caleb. I've eloped with Aiden.
What?
Congratulate me.
Congratulations.
Just kidding, but I have gone off with Aiden to get some answers as to what happened. I don't understand it all myself, but it is something I want to get people I care about involved in. I'll stay in touch. Don't worry about me. I'll be fine. P.S. I don't blame Rogar. Which was a lot more words than your sendings usually allow.
She's so good at this. My God.
Do you wish to send a response?
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay.
I say, okay.
Is that it?
Hmm?
Okay. Remember, the sending is going to pick up the next few words that you actually say. So,
All right. I mean, we'll see what happens. So I go back to the rest of my friends.
okay. Sturge is sitting there with the sword across his knees. And it seems at first like he's asleep, but when you look back, you realize that he's awake and he's looking up at you. Sturge, you feel totally rested, energized, ready to go kill some drow.
All right. Sturge stands, sheaths the sword with a snick, and says,
Your sword sounds like a dog.
I know. My dog really
Unleash the
likes
beast.
chips, and he wants more.
Oh.
Hey, bud. You want to? It says, I got some answers, Stong.
Oh, what questions did you ask?
I asked if he knew who the archfiend is that is tampering with my life. More.
Your sword is hungry.
Wow.
It likes drow blood and chips.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Feed the sword.
The chat is having a good time with this. Like you're like, I asked some questions and the sword said, "Yep." Thanks for that, Seldery. Okay.
Yeah, I think I know who has been messing with my life, and I think it's the drow god.
Which drow god?
The drow god, the spider woman.
Oh. Why
I
would
can't
she
think of the name right now, but I hate her.
Yeah, you mean Loth?
Yes, he said he wouldn't tell me the name of the and I motioned for Cecilia to come over and anybody else who's nearby, and I say,
I'm asleep still.
Cecilia, you are still sleeping there. How in what manner are you sleeping?
I assume that I'm still sort of sitting up, but like in that sort of like kind of way.
with the wand, like
Yeah, you're leaning
No
against a
one's like-
rock. You're like
Yeah.
with this big red cloak over you.
Doesn't comfortable at all.
I just kind of nudge her.
Nothing here is comfortable. Let's be clear. Also, possible source of the bleakness. The rock.
They need an IKEA bad.
Oh my god, you solved all their problems! Meatballs instead of stone soup!
Those Scandinavian
Furniture
geniuses.
instead of rocks!
Okay, Rogar, you
Okay.
awaken.
No, well, I awaken, but is Fruin still snuggled against me? Then...
Rowan is not there.
Oh, okay.
What?
He's making breakfast.
Okay,
Aw.
okay, I'll get up. I
Yo,
was gonna pretend to be asleep, but
he's waking up early to make you breakfast, and he likes your snoring. I'm just gonna say, just lock it up. Just lock it up right now.
Yeah, he's a keeper. Put a ring on it, right? So
He's frying bread and he's put eggs on top of them.
Well, I think Artemisia, if she smells the breakfast, is going to sort of like very slowly sort of be in the vicinity of the breakfast.
Yep. He's like, "Oh, good, Mara, sister. Did you sleep well?"
As well as can be expected.
Excellent.
The beds are rock.
If you have any extra of that breakfast.
Oh, of course. I'm making it for everyone.
The
So,
Sturge kicked me awake. Like, what's up? I'm just gonna like kind of pull that wand a little closer. I'm sure you want it back. But... You talked to your guy. I watched. You didn't walk off. So
You're muted.
Sturge, your mouth's moving, but nothing's happening.
he said,
Yes, I talked to
Joke
my
wasn't
guy.
funny
He
the first
said,
time. Oh no, he's possessed, paralyzed.
it kind of would have been funny if Sturge like nudged you awake and you're like, "Ah!"
I feel like that implies a certain level of alertness that is not inherent to
I know.
Cecilia. But
I know.
that's why you gave me the wand and not, Artemisia.
Fair enough.
Exactly.
Absorption.
He falls off the log again. He's like, "Oh, yes, I wasn't sleeping. I never sleep." He comes
Yeah.
running over.
Did your guy talk to your guy?
I did. And surprisingly, the old elf is Chevrash.
Oh,
Is that really
shocker.
surprising? I mean,
I
don't know anything about this guy, so he
Are
didn't
you
have black
sure of
arrows
that,
at the time.
Starshan says.
Well, yeah, he was really obscure and cryptic, but
He said
didn't-
he was a swordsman.
Everybody we
he
talked to
made
is
the
this.
sword. This guy,
Shevarash does the.
yes, I know, but he made the sword.
Maybe the sword turns you into Shevarash. Hmm?
He said we're all Chevarash. Oh, that could be. He said we're all Chevarash. And
We're all Shevarash. You're Shevarash. I'm Shevarash.
Last.
He is
I am
Shevarash.
Batman.
I know.
I mean, I don't think that's a very polite thing to say about Cecilia. She can be petty, but I don't think she's a.
Excuse me?
I'm sorry. I'm just
So-
trying to defend you against the accusation that you're a
was
god of
just-
vengeance.
No.
I mean, if it was going to be a god of something.
Was my cloak comfortable?
Yeah, what is this doing on me? Okay. Thank you.
Ston wants to recall back.
Too sleepy for this. They don't know what's going on. Okay.
Ston wants to recall back to that story of the 3 dark amigos.
The 3 dark amigos. Okay.
I forgot the name of the story.
That could be what the dwarves, the orcs call it.
Yeah, we
Three
lost in
dark amigos.
translation. The lost in
Amongst the
translation.
dwarves.
The dark 3 or the dead 3.
Ah,
Those are
okay.
the 2 most common names for that story.
Except for the orcs, that now call them the
Who call it the
dark
3
Dark
dark
amigos.
amigos. Yeah.
So he wants to recall that, and then
It's canonical until Ed contradicts it. Anyway.
True, yeah. So Ed, if you're watching, weigh in. But
3 dark
you know what? It just
Fine.
came to my head.
It's fine.
So is there any sort of association with that and what Sturge might be experiencing with this sword when this elven individual said that we're all like Chevarash? Is there some sort of like splitting of the power, maybe?
Roll a d20.
Do we a D20?
Yeah. Actually, you can make it a wisdom saving throw if you like.
Wisdom saving throw.
Mm-hmm.
Okay,
You're
fine.
going
But
to turn into Shevarash.
when I rolled the D20, I rolled a 20. But when I rolled the saving throw, I got a 12.
You rolled 2 separate dice.
Well, you said do one and then the other.
Yeah, so I just
the
rolled one.
first roll is fine. Just like I'm saying, you could make it a wisdom saving throw if you want. But you rolled a d20 and you rolled a 20?
Yeah.
Okay. So,
Tell me everything.
all right, chat. What do you think I should do? Should I give him some kind of insight that causes his mind to explode?
Don't explode Song's mind.
Yes. Yes. Obviously, that's what I should do, right? Okay.
Are you on drugs, Eric? Are you still on drugs? Did you keep some of that secret stash? Oh, man.
Oh, chat, you're terrible. They're saying yes.
They say yes. All right, blow
yeah.
my mind, Eric.
Seldarine is saying
Let's do
drove my
it.
Chevy to the levee, and it's like
I love it. I love it.
Excellent. So,
Blow my mind.
also.
Tell me the secrets of the universe.
so you realize that there's some deeper meaning to this story, and there are multiple ways to become a god, and one of them is to take that power from another god, and one of them is to exemplify the traits of something so deeply that veneration of that thing empowers you. And
No.
a third way is to pick up a holy relic of that god that then turns you into a hand of that god. And you're pretty sure that's what Sturge has done.
Just gonna say, like, can you hold a grudge so hard you become Shiverash? Because they
And you think for one fleeting second, like you remember some sort of story in the back of your mind that there was this ancient elven assassin spirit of vengeance thing, and he was a rogue and he fought from the shadows and he had a very long nose. But you dismiss that as like, no,
Well, coincidence.
That couldn't possibly be Sturge, because that story is centuries old.
Oh my god! All right, my mind is a little blown right now.
So then, it is at that moment that Narcy comes running over to you, and she says, "Oh, you're all awake."
Oh, you're still alive, Ray.
Except for Rogar. And Ruin says, "Watch." And then he waves the pan under Rogar's nose, and Rogar just. So he serves you all breakfast.
Thank you.
And he says, "Oh, sorry, I forgot." He holds out this handful of berries. He says, "You should each have one."
Thank you.
Okay.
He says, technically, the fried bread is just an accessory. All you really need to eat is one berry, and it sustains you for 24 hours.
Wow.
How many
That's
berries did you
useful.
eat last night?
She ate 10.
Wow.
That's a lot of calories.
I have to say, I love the idea of Strong somehow taking the sword and becoming the champion of Sharash, because you're the one who's going to stop it. Maybe we should hear them out. Maybe they want to be friends first. And that would just drive him crazy.
Maybe we should hear them out.
As much as I do enjoy Sturge being stuck with this sword and the implications and ramifications of it. If for any reason you decide to drop it, you should pick it up.
Yeah, we'll see what happens in the future. We'll see what happens in the future.
Okay. And then you're having a great breakfast. You're having lots of laughs. And then Narcy's like, oh yeah. Your friends never came back out of the tunnel.
What?
No.
Yeah, we better go help them.
Yeah, the two who appeared and then they went in the tunnels to go
Kirser
fight
and
the-
Nala.
Yeah, those are the two.
Can you do a sending to Kirser?
Oh, Kayla sent me a sending. Oh, hi, Kayla.
What?
And then that's the end of my sending
Yeah,
to
that's
Kayla.
the end of your sending.
And then I repeat the sending that Kayla, what she told me.
You want me to read it to you all again since it's been a
Nah.
while?
I
Okay.
think we got it.
You got the
Yeah.
gist.
We got the gist.
Yeah.
All right. She made a joke. It was funny.
I was really
Was
worried.
it a joke, or was it a joke that's not a joke? That also sounds like Kayla fish.
Yeah.
I'm glad that she's gonna get help with whatever it.
Yes, that should get fixed.
It's a
Or
relief.
Cecilia probably had nightmares about that part.
It's a relief that she is not so far gone that she doesn't see that there's a problem.
Yeah. I mean, I'm still worried about her, but I'm pretty sure we could just trust what she says at face value.
For later.
Yeah. There's no reason to question her. Well, let's go.
Cecilia is deeply torn on this, but does not want the wings in her life right now. So maybe it's okay. It's the Caliph is not lying about stuff.
The dark
Shady.
archangel wings.
Yeah, they don't
Yeah.
look good.
It shed little fragments of bone like
Oh,
feathers. Yeah.
just not gonna think about the egg.
It was
Right.
her face coming off that really.
Ruin says, "Oh, did you like the
Yeah.
egg, by the way?"
Oh no. Yes.
Why?
You're welcome.
Where did you get eggs?
It's not important.
Well,
No, Ruan, that question is always important.
Sarshan says, "Hey, were we going to rescue our friends? Your friends? Our friends?"
Yes, maybe. Could you ask
Yeah.
Scarecer if she needs help?
I
Because
will.
giving help to Scarecer that she doesn't need just seems like just
Yeah,
A
yeah. She'd
recipe
be
for
mad.
unpleasantness.
She'd be mad at us. So I'm gonna do a sending to Scarecer.
not quiet.
And I'm gonna say, are you okay? We haven't seen you or Nala return. If you need any assistance or you just want us to admire your kills, reply.
Nicely
Okay.
done.
you very quickly receive a reply that says, in Scarcer's voice, I could pretend that I am perfectly fine, but I think you will discover that I am not. I have something that you want. If you want it back, you should probably come and talk. I shall await you, you and your companions.
Ominous.
Oh, Jesus! It better not be.
Oh.
Otherwise, I shall keep this former slave as your gift to me.
Oh no, she's
Not
possessed.
They're talking.
Oh
Yeah.
god.
Oh.
Well,
Okay, guess we're gonna go kill a
right,
mind player for breakfast.
Lightning time.
Wow.
Destruction and ruin coming.
Yeah, if you would like to.
All right,
Ruin's like,
here we go.
combat.
Yeah.
Oh, I mean, yeah, sure, I'll come. Yeah, I can help.
When you were jigs, you helped.
Sort of. Mostly, I got stabbed that one time.
That is true. You should have bitten more people.
You know, people are not as tasty as you'd think.
That's not really the point of the biting in this case, but okay.
I mean, if you want
Maybe
to
not for you.
be a wolf and help, you could do that.
Oh, right. That's a really good point. Would you just excuse me for just one? He settles away.
Okie doke.
so team. Have any
Thurston
of
says
us-
he is just a kid. You know, you should not expect too much from him.
Oh,
Have
I
any of
know.
us ever fought a mind flayer?
I didn't know what a mind player was until yesterday. So.
No, I have not.
You're the one that knows all the things.
I'd imagine, I don't know, like probably like Dwarf 101 is like, being told about mind flayers, but I
Don't
don't know.
mess with them.
yeah. I didn't ken how much I know. Keep it
Well,
up.
there seems to be some suggestion that they can take over our minds. Is there something that we can do to help prepare ourselves before we
Like a
face
rock
them?
helmet.
Yeah, yeah.
If you
Nobody
get,
wants to eat rocks, so
I think if you get really, really drunk, then it's harder for them.
It's like that. Oh, sorry. That's what you do. What we do in the Shadows episode, where they drink the blood of people on drugs. So then you just have a drunk mind player.
Well,
Starts pulling out a guitar, try to play Wonder.
Right.
I'm just
Are
Are you
concerned.
looking something up? Because I feel like
I am.
we're like.
You know, they like to grab your face, so we could rub
Oh, I figured-
spices
I
and
figured
stuff on our
you were all,
face. That
you know,
be like,
planning and stuff.
I don't know that we.
Yeah.
I don't know that we
Actual
have the
planning.
opportunity, but
Use
I think there
like
is
a-
a question of how much any of us might know about mind flayers,
Oh, very
specifically
little.
Rogar and
Hmm.
Song.
Rogar
Very
knows
little.
so
Just that
much
they
about
have-
mind flayers.
They have psychic powers. They can enslave people.
Mhm.
They have tentacles.
so
4 tentacles.
Like the idea of rubbing Tabasco.
You rub you have to rub spicy things, especially in your beard. with some pepper
Artemisia
and
does
that
not do
stuff.
this.
So if they try to like grab your face, it's like wachoo, and they'll just
Star would totally do
sneeze you
this.
right off.
Artemisia-
Goes to the
Nope.
kitchen.
Aye,
Looks for
aye.
spicy things.
And right, and drinking it does help, but you know, it's you have to find that perfect balance where you're okay to fight, but you know, you shut off your
Okay.
brain a
I'm
bit.
not drinking that much mushroom brandy.
He's gonna, yeah, he's gonna grab a little barrel or a couple of barrels of mushroom brandy.
Stone, do you have armor?
All right.
No,
Good. Put something on, man. Did you have?
I'm still
any-
wearing the barrel technically because I haven't
Oh,
changed.
come
Because I
on.
always forget to change. Who remembers to change their armor?
Well,
Well,
we're reminding
You
you.
you have
Do
real
it
you
now.
have real
You know,
clothes.
when was
You're
the
not
last
just
time
in the
any of
barrel.
y'all changed, huh? Clothes.
That That's a wonderful question. I actually don't know how many changes of clothes we probably each own, and how many of them. I guess Artemisia probably has several with her, and then several that were destroyed in the caravan.
Yes.
Yeah, but I think he's wearing like some of the blankets now that I remember. Like I animated the blankets to sort of cover.
Well,
Well,
that's great.
and then when Artemisia went out in Redenseer and she dropped off the skin for armor, she got him like regular clothes. So they're kind of a bit too small, but they are
That's
just
right.
like,
You have a belly
regular clothes.
shirt.
Oh
Yes.
yeah, okay.
I remember
Everybody
now.
can see my muffin top. I remember saying that. Yeah.
Yeah, that,
All right.
that definitely.
So you can wear the
did
barrel
happen.
on top of that for like its armoring properties, but
No, this
Okay.
barrel and I have had good memories, but
All right.
separate
So you're comparing notes about what you know about mind flayers. When this huge silver furred giant cat is what it looks like. It looks like some kind of lion or panther or tiger with these huge fangs just ambles over to you.
Oh,
And it
really?
looks over at Cecilia and it says, "Is this going to help?" In Roan's
Oh my
voice.
God.
Well,
Yeah, I guess
sure.
so. You have swords for teeth.
Ah.
Very nice.
Cool.
Okay.
can Artemisia like ruffle its ear? Really let her.
Yeah, it does. It does the cat thing of like nudging you, but it's strong enough that it just knocks you backward.
Okay.
Yeah, its head weighs about 100 pounds.
Sounds like go time. Yeah. You ready?
But before
I'm
we
going-
leave, oh, go ahead.
I was gonna say before you leave, I'm gonna make my packed weapon manifest, so we don't have to use an
That's a good
action to
call.
do it.
Okay.
I think Stone just wants to like look at the rest of his friends, and he says, "Hey, it sounds like these illithid are going to be really, really potentially dangerous, and we just
There's
Maybe
only one
lost.
of me. You hear in your head.
get
It's
out
my
of there."
slaves. It's my slaves. You should be concerned about.
This thing seems to be talking to me directly in my head now. Maybe
But
I'm-
I have no interest in harming you.
Oh,
No.
what would you like? You guys just see Stong talking to himself
think-
now?
Did you say it's just Song, or I thought you said it was all
It's
of us?
just Stong.
Okay. What is going on? Did you
I-
drink all that mushroom brandy?
I did, but I think this is real, and I think this mind flare's talking to me in my head.
What's
What's
its
it
name?
want?
Ask it about. Never mind.
What do you want?
Peace.
Peace? It wants peace, friends.
I think that's probably a good thing when it comes from Mind Flayer.
Come. We shall
Mm.
talk.
Mm.
Okay.
You're repeating what it says.
Yeah, it wants to just talk to us.
I feel like
Oh, well then.
we need some kind of assurances because oh my god, no.
Mm,
Wait,
that's a
when it
good
was
thought.
scarcer, didn't it say that we had something it needed? Or something
I
like
don't
that?
actually recall that.
It said, "I have something you want.
Mm,
Yeah.
and that's her.
We should talk."
Got it.
So, Stong goes, Cecilia, I like the way you think. And then he's going to ask it back, wait, so my manager wants to know what incentives and assurances you could give us that you are being honest and truthful.
I will not strike you until you strike at me.
Interesting.
It says it won't hit us unless we hit it. Playground rules.
Okay.
I
I mean, Nala and Scarcer are down there. What'd you say?
Yeah.
by hit, it means any kind of attack or invasion. I mean, this thing enslaves people's minds.
I know, I feel like that's what it means when it says peace. Like, you'll just all be enslaved and happy to serve me.
Yeah, I
Well,
bet.
Like, okay.
Stong says, okay, but no harm to us of any sort, or to our good friends Nala and Scarcer.
No mind control, no.
That
No mind
is
control.
up to you.
Okay.
Okay. Well,
Can't possess all of us at the same time, can it? We don't have any idea.
No clue.
This seems real stupid, but
Ask it if it is enemies with the drow or allies.
Oh, that's a good thought. Are you enemies with the drow? Do you need help with them?
I need no assistance.
Maybe it's a mind flayer and not
And I
a
have
flayer.
no
What'd you say, Eric?
and I have no allies.
Oh, do you?
Come,
I don't
let
think we
us
have a choice.
speak.
Yeah. Well, Stong says, "Well, I've never been friends with a mind flayer before. This will be interesting."
What could go wrong?
Yeah, we'll bring it some brandy and some of these spicy peppers.
You should hurry along. I cannot guarantee that your friend's brains will survive much longer.
Hmm.
All right.
Uh,
I don't
okay.
think we have a choice.
Are
I'd
there?
love to figure out the way to outthink this.
Mortal minds are so permeable.
Is there a butcher shop on the way? Can
Dwarves
I
have a
buy
butcher
some
shop.
brains? Can I buy some brains to bring it as like a gift?
Like a
Like a hostess
pig
gift.
brain?
Yeah.
Thank you for letting us into your cave. There are some brains we brought.
One more ring gift.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah, I don't know. I buy one for
All
each
right.
of us. For all of us.
We just like put them under our hats.
Yes.
It's so gross.
Artemisia is not touching this.
Oh my god.
Decoy brain.
Oh man.
All right.
Okay. So then we head over to where the mines, I assume.
You go down into the mines.
I'm gonna, as long as we're getting close, I'm gonna go ahead and cast this armor of Agathis. So I have that thing, and then while I'm walking, use my rod to get my spell slot back because
You're
that
going-
just seems wise.
Going down there arm for bear. I get it. Like Cecilia is not screwing around. She's taking any chances here.
Anytime anybody says, "No, trust me, I'm not gonna hit you," that's a freaking lie. So I'm gonna stand up in the front, so if it hits me, it gets a nice blast of ice.
Does anyone else do any preparation? Ruin became a saber-toothed tiger.
Also, I'm gonna explain to Sarshan a bunch of times that he cannot hit the mind flayer first.
All
Because
right.
he really, really, really can't hit the mind flayer.
All right.
I'll go.
But if it hits us, then I can hit it.
Yes, but not until then. Otherwise, it
How do I tell if it's hitting us?
I?
Like
Oh my
what's
God.
the standard?
I don't know.
Crying out in pain.
Yes.
Someone crying out in pain.
If someone
All right.
shouts pineapple, it means it's
Pineapple.
Oh, I like
Excellent.
it.
Well,
Okay.
I'm going to do two things to prepare. I mean, the first one now, and the second one I'm going to reserve as we approach. One, I'm going to cast Freedom of Movement on Sturge.
Okay.
Thank you. What does that do?
It helps
means,
you get out of bindings and stops you from being like paralyzed, things like that.
and you can move freely through difficult terrain and such.
Right. Which is
Uh,
important.
and then I'm gonna like be ready to bless as when we get close. But
Cecilia, I think I may need that wand back.
fair enough.
Thank you.
Yeah, I think Stong is gonna tell Maribel about the situation and then put her into the safe dimension.
Be safe, Daddy.
I will.
Paracool.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay. Anyone else?
I think it's as set as we're gonna be.
Okay, cool. All right. So you're heading down into the mines.
Into the trappiest trap that ever trapped.
Yeah.
Follow the mine shaft that Cecilia went down before. Okay, so you can kind of guide them along. There are a number of twists and turns. The air becomes kind of briny, like very humid. Those of you who have hair that doesn't react well to the brine, I'm looking at you, Stong. Your hair gets a little big. And you become gradually aware of some kind of beat, like a beat, a heartbeat, but it's not even. It's not regular, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's upsetting. It's like we're
It's
inside
intended to be.
something. Well done.
Excellent. And you're going down through the tunnel, and you come to this spot of kind of bluish light coming through a tunnel and opening. And that is as far as you went, Cecilia.
Do any of us recognize what that pulsing beat is?
Feels like a heartbeat, but like a heartbeat in your head, you know? Like when you stand up too quickly and you feel a little weak and like your heart is pounding in your head. It feels like that, except you have like a heart murmur. Yeah.
Yeah. This isn't love. This isn't indigestion. I don't know what this is.
What is love? Baby, don't flame me. Don't flame me. No more.
Stong, tell it we're here.
Hello?
Yes. I know you're here.
Do you have a name?
Yes. You get this sense of like images flowing through your head of something dark, and they're like bones cracking, and a small animal going ah! And then dusty silence.
Okay. But you said that those are images and not sounds, or both?
Right. Well, it's a jumble of feelings.
Oh, I see.
Rather than words.
I was
Just call him
gonna.
Dusty.
Yeah,
all of that,
I like it.
All of that is my name. But you may call me Dusk if you must.
I tried
You
to
said
repeat.
dusk, like with extra letters there.
I tried to repeat like the name as Dusk felt, sent feelings over at me, and then I'd like to ask.
DUSDK.
I asked, like, are we close to you?
Oh yeah.
Talk
I'm
time.
inside.
Oh, guys.
Keep my word. I will not strike you until you strike at me.
Ooh, wait. Stong, make sure that it also isn't going to make its slaves strike us, because that would be a wonderful loophole.
Oh, yes. Also, your slaves can't strike us.
My thralls are an extension of my will.
Well, Cecilia.
If they struck you, that would be me striking you.
Okay. I say
that would be
guess
me
we go
striking
in.
you many, many times.
Okay. I'm gonna go in. I assume Stong's going first-ish.
Sure. Yeah.
I'm gonna go in with you.
Dirge is going last-ish.
I'm going last-ish as well, just in case you need some sort of.
Okay, so you enter a chamber. It looks like it's round. It's a circular sort of chamber, but the ground is segmented, like multiple little dips, right, going around in a circle.
Okay. Like a deviled egg tray. That's scary.
More like a baking tin for a bundt cake or
Got it.
something like that.
Scallop. It's a scallop.
Yeah, like that. Did any of you trained in survival?
I am.
Okay, make a check, please.
This is actually one of my expertises. Oh my god, I rolled a 1. So that's 10 total.
Okay. Well, this actually works for you because it reminds you of your crab armor. Walking inside this area is like walking inside a giant shell,
Oh. Oh,
like
God.
a conch shell.
I like point out the outer edges of this room to my friends, and I say, "Are we in a giant shell?"
There's a raised clear bowl, basically, and it's like a sphere of glass, really, and it's filled mostly with this kind of murky blue liquid, which sloshes slightly.
Oh boy. I'm gonna do another set, like sending again. I'm gonna be like, "Oh, Mister," and then like the images and feelings, Mister,
And you
Mrs.
do your best. You present like a dead bird you saw one time, and like you stepping on a twig.
Yeah,
Okay.
we brought you some housewarming gifts.
Like he sent you the opening of Hinterland, and you sent him back like you tried for David Lynch, but you didn't quite get it.
Like the opening of Dexter, where I'm actually just making breakfast, and I just like feel bad about cracking eggs.
Like I'm thinking really hard about eggs right now.
Yeah.
You're still like, where did those eggs come from?
Who did those? I want to stop thinking about that immediately, though. But yeah, I don't know. Present the brains that we
so
brought.
your head's hurting a little bit, and you see this fly buzzing in front of you.
Okay.
You interact with it.
I offer the brain to it. Is this one of your servants?
You have a pig brain, right? That's what you have.
Mm-hmm. Sure.
Okay. All right. So the rest of you see Stong holding out this pig brain, and then the fly lands.
I heard they like brains.
Stong. The fly lands like on your eye.
Oh, can we see this
Mm-mm.
fly? Oh,
Hey, on Flux.
As it's coming close, does this just look like a normal fly?
No. Like it landed there, but you didn't feel anything. You just see it. It's like it landed on the inside of your eye.
Oh, God.
oh!
No.
And it has a face, a vaguely humanoid face.
No.
Oh, God.
And then it buzzes off again, and it flies around in front of you.
Team Pact, please stop telling Eric creepy stuff is good. Keep doing
Are you sure you're not on drugs, Eric?
Yeah. And then you hear a loud rumbling sound.
Do we all hear it or just Stong?
Well, everyone hears it. The ground kind of shakes a little bit under you.
Guys, this fly has a human face. And the ground shaking.
What fly?
Oh, what?
Is it an earthquake? Is this an earth? Rogar, do you guys get earthquakes here? Someone fracking.
No, I'm not familiar with this range.
That, you all hear a voice inside your head, is not your concern. It poses you no threat at the moment. You have come to speak, yes?
Yes?
You want your companions back, yes? Your mate?
Well, I mean, we haven't talked about that, but
I mean, really, we've only been dating for like a week. I don't know.
I mean, I'm open to the idea, but we haven't talked about it. Anyways, yes, I want them back.
The gift, I mean.
Wait,
It
what
has
about...
been long since I tasted the brain of a gift.
Whoa.
Do
Please.
not trouble yourself. I have not eaten any part of her, including her brain.
Okay. We've brought 8 other brains as gifts to you, so that to satiate your appetite and to show our goodwill.
I see. Well,
Where are
just
you?
between you and me, those would not have satiated my appetites, even if they were the appetites of normal folk of my kind.
Oh, sorry. I have a lot to learn about.
But I have
people.
not taken offense at your presumption. You have something I want. Give it to me, and you may have whatever you wish of my thralls.
Okay. What do you want?
And at that moment, you see like the walls at several points of terminus of the shell open, like just kind of, and
Jeez.
folks start walking through. Dark elves, dwarves, Duergar, and scares there.
Where's Nala?
Yeah, where's Nala?
You don't see Nala.
I tried not to think about Nala.
Yeah, maybe she got away.
They are appareled, I don't know, fairly functionally, like, but they don't seem to particularly care about their clothes. So some of them are like torn or dirty. They're all walking very upright, kind of like caricatures. And the voice says, "Go ahead, choose
Nope.
which of my
Don't.
thralls you would like."
Just gonna pause and be like, you didn't tell us what you want.
Yeah. Also, are all of these people here of their own will? Did they volunteer for this?
I don't think anybody volunteers for this.
No song.
Many of them came here willingly and freely. I have simply alleviated their suffering.
Mm-hmm.
Others came to attack the dwarves that dwell above. I have alleviated their thirst for blood. Your friend came to slay me. I have alleviated her desire for vengeance. Do you have desires that you wish me to alleviate?
The
Oh,
desire
guys.
for an answer to the question that we asked you. What do you want?
I want you to leave.
I will say when she asks that question, there's like this briefest moment
Oh, poor Rogar.
where
Oh.
Rogar glances guiltily at Ruin and it's like
Ooh.
slightly,
You-
just for
Ruin
like a
makes an insight check.
millisecond,
Oh.
just for a millisecond, just because he's so deeply conditioned at this point.
Yeah.
Ruin's tail goes down.
Oh.
His ears go down, and he like
no.
slinks over behind Cecilia, which is really funny
Oh,
because he's like
no.
3 times the size of Cecilia. Like he's a big cat who thinks he's a little cat.
Oh man.
You want us to? Oh, sorry.
So I was just gonna say I feel really bad, but I mean I just couldn't. I mean she asked the question and it popped in my head. Can't help. But I don't. I mean that's I don't. That's not what I really want in my heart. But it's
Yeah,
It's your first thought. It's the one you've been conditioned to.
yeah.
Not your second thought.
We all get it, Randy. I want you to leave, but I also want you to be happy.
That's very kind of you. Why do you want us to leave?
I do not want you to interfere with me or with the
What?
happiness I have brought to so many.
No.
You, and it like Cecilia, you feel more pressure in your head.
Rude.
You can be free of your fears and your doubts. You can throw your mask away.
Nope. Nope. Definitely have
I
heard
can
this
take
before.
them from you. I
I'm
can make your
Don't
world
doubt
what
that.
you wish.
so good at this, but you're not gonna get me here.
You. Now, Rogar, you feel the pressure in your head. I can feel your conflict. You do not wish to leave. Pulls up the hammer.
No, I do want to leave. I have to leave. I have to serve my people.
You, and you, Artemisia, you feel the pressure in your head. You hear me as well. You wear a mask just as your kin does.
No. Uh-uh.
You can lie to yourself, but not to me.
Don't know what you're talking about.
Sturge is getting off easy. Is that what's happening
we
here?
all look at Sturge.
Yes. One of you is shielded against me.
5 Sturge.
That is it.
Sturge is
At
like,
that point, another opening appears, and a tall, lanky figure emerges, stooped in a black and purple, slightly purple robe, with 4 lank, chapped, dry,
no!
white tentacles extending out from his cowl.
I don't like it.
As he looks at you, his eyes are 2 gleaming pits of blue light.
Wave.
You. Now his voice is actually physical, like you can actually hear it physically.
Eardrums vibrating.
Put that sword down, and I shall give you what you most want.
What is it I most want? You can't get in my head. You don't know it.
Because you are hiding.
Well, how do you know you could give it to him if you don't know what it is?
I can give anyone what they want.
What if he literally wants the moon?
What if I want you to release everybody from this place, including me?
He raises his hands, which are these like white, shrunken skeletal hands.
Oh, man.
And the ground starts shaking again. He says, I can give you the moon. It will take perhaps an hour to arrive there.
Okay, but actually nobody asked for the moon. It was a hypothetical. So put the moon back.
You must be the leader of this band.
Leader is how you say mouthy one.
I can tell she is the mouthy one.
Oh, the problem
Have you
here
come to test yourself against me?
we came to get knowledge.
Very well. You can
Which
take
I have apparently got
the
the chair.
thralls you want, so long as you leave me in peace.
Wait, question. What is it that you're trying to accomplish without us here? Because that really does kind of weigh on our decision making.
That is not your concern.
I'm afraid it is my concern if it'll harm the dwarves and the outpost above us.
I bring happiness to the dwarves who would throw their lives away. Surely you of all should appreciate that, Rogar Battle Baron.
Well, I appreciate that you think that you're helping, but I'm not certain that those dwarves wouldn't be better off with their own people.
They are. They come to me, their minds almost gone, their souls eroding. I find a use for them. They are at peace. Their bleakness taken away.
Can
you offer them better?
Maybe not.
As you
yet.
can see, I have no hunger. I do not need to feast upon them. He pulls back his cowl, and you see that like his skin is parched and white and flaking, and it reminds you of looking at Kalis' dead flesh.
I don't like it.
Undead? Ew.
Like, there's a part of me that's like, the problem here is we don't really know the ecology of mind flayers. And
Yeah.
so therefore an undead mind flayer, it sort of just seems like double bad, right? Like
Yeah.
zombies eat people, mind flayers eat people's brains. We've got that
Maybe.
much down. So doesn't this just mean double brain eating? He's saying
Didn't
like
want the
no.
brains.
That's true. But
Didn't want dead pig brains.
yeah, we always
True.
knew that was a little bit.
You know, it's the thought that counts,
Let's just
right?
say Cecilia has terror giggles or something today because I can't stop.
I pursue magic. I pursue truth. That is all I have pursued for centuries.
Well, I mean, this guy did say that he was protecting the dwarves up above also from those that would kill the dwarves. Right?
They did.
I
still
am
have the-
cleaning up after the dwarves when they do not clean up after themselves.
You know,
Rude.
we still we still don't know where Nala is. Where's our other friend? You said friends before.
Other
Didn't he?
friend.
I don't think well he said that I had what you wanted, and I thought he used a singular there, but
He
And
did
it is
there. I
at
thought he
that
said
point
afterwards.
that a shape comes out of the darkness behind him,
oh man.
wielding this axe. Very familiar axe that
Mm.
you last saw Scaresair holding, and drives it into the back of the Mind Flayer.
Oh no.
All right, pineapple.
Pineapple.
And that is all the time we have for tonight.
Oh.
As the Alhoon's
Oh.
Oh.
psychic screech fills the room.
Ooh.
Oh, no.
Interesting.
Hoon, huh?
Well, I'm sure this will end well.
That's an undead Mind Flayer, for
Yeah,
reference.
we are-
Wow.
Yeah.
we are
That's a
in trouble.
great name. That's way better than Merkel.
Well, Alhoon is not his name. That's the
Yeah.
name of the creature.
Oh,
Right,
Oh,
right,
yeah.
All right.
His name is
All
a
right.
terrifying scream of a dying
Pineapple
animal.
friends.
Did you hear it?
So,
yeah.
thank you, dear viewers. Come back next week to see the Alhoon mop the floor with the Westgate Irregulars.
Wait, what?
We'll see what happens.
See what
Oh.
happens.
And Nala got that, she was waiting for the right moment to strike that creature. And seems to have happened. So I have been Eric Scott to be your DM for this adventure. Thank you for coming along on this epic quest with us, which takes such strange twists and turns. Go for it, Aaron.
I'm Erin M. Evans. Check out our sponsors, Idle Champions of the Forgotten Realms, at their website, idlechampions.com.
I'm Rhiannon Held. Thank you to our moderators tonight, Shay and Seldarine.
I'm Yang Yang Wang. Check out the charities that we support. If you take a look down below on the Twitch page, you'll see 4 of them. And if you're watching on YouTube, come by and check out our Twitch page.
I'm Stephen Merlino. You can also find our past videos on our YouTube channel, linked on our Twitch page below. Be sure to click subscribe to support us and the bell to get notified as we add new content.
I'm Randy Henderson, and thank you to everybody who subscribed or donated bits. We do this for the love, but the money always helps. And check out our website for lots of great bonus material including from Shay Dark Song, one of our excellent moderators, and of course, thank you most of all to you, our viewers. So, stay scrawly.